I'd love to introduce to you to our composer who's here this evening, Andrian Hutu, and ask him to say a few words about his composition for you.
Firstly, I'd like to say, lucky this is a relaxed country, because having been to an Asian Composers League festival in Korea a few years ago, I remember the bus being late to one of the concerts, and some of the composers actually missed their piece. And this was my predicament tonight, because I was actually coming and I was frantically making phone calls because I thought I'm going to be a few minutes late, and perhaps I would have missed the first three pieces.
No, we would have waited for you.
Thanks. So lucky Australia's very relaxed, because if it was Japan or Korea, I think I would have missed out. But look, these pieces, you heard three of them at the beginning, two slow ones and one fast. So there's actually 24 of them, and they were composed. Well, you know, they started in 2009, and it's probably, look, in my, you know, from my particular, you know, for me in particular, they're probably the longest I've ever spent composing a set of pieces, because there's actually 24 of them. You heard three. There's actually 24 of them, and some of them are really, really hard. I mean, so you heard a few kind of pleasant ones, but yeah, some of them, they're actually etudes, but not in the normal sense of etudes. Historical etudes have been about, you know, some kind of technique, but in this case, they're actually rhythmic etudes. So in a sense, they're really attempting to I guess, present the challenges, the rhythmic challenges of piano playing. And of course, even the slow ones are fairly challenging, because there's a lot of polyrhythmic material. In other words, they don't really play on the standard pulse. They're off the beat. And you heard the first one, even though it's very melodic, everything is kind of off the pulse. So it actually takes a bit of challenge to, and it's also an intellectual challenge. It's not just it's not a physical challenge. It becomes an intellectual challenge.
And are you mathematical at all? There's so many techniques in here. I just wonder how you. Are all composers a little bit mathematical?
Well, you know, music and maths have really got a very, you know, close relationship, really. But I guess look, in many ways for me, it's always been the challenge of finding new ways of composing and exploring new methods, new ideas. It's always about the ideas. I think that's the power in composition is about the ideas themselves. But of course, if you really think about it from an artistic point of view, then the challenge becomes, how do you balance between something that's intellectual and something that's actually, you know, emotive? So, and that becomes a challenge. So, you know, in other words, then it's about creating music that connects in some way, yeah? And so, yeah, I do love mathematics, but I think I also love the challenge of trying to bridge the gap between doing something that has, you know, first of all, I should point out that I'm written for Michael Kieran-Harvey. And if some of you know Michael Kieran-Harvey, he's an amazing piano player. And when I say that, I mean, he's been playing since he was 2 years old. His mother taught him. He comes from a very musical family. His sister's an amazing piano player, Bernadette, who is a Sydney-based piano player. But the point is that Michael is an interesting character, because, you know, it's not about just writing something hard for him. It's not about virtuosity. The challenge becomes, how do you write something that's actually virtuosic, intellectually challenging, musical, and it becomes a kind of a balance between that. And I actually spent about 6 months researching materials for these pieces at the State Library Victoria. And each piece is actually based on, it has a quotation from one Australian composer. So it becomes really an idea of actually using quotations, mathematical processes, and intuition, a combination of all these things.
And you said it's also a homage to Henry Cowell.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about why he's so important?
Henry Cowell wrote a book in 1930 called New Musical Resources, which was really, really influential And in the 20th century became an influential book for, well, his ideas, I should say, to a lot of such as Boulez and Stockhausen. I mean, a lot of those composers, because what he did, he actually tried to connect rhythm and harmony, and the idea of actually, in other words, the harmonic series, which is really the foundation of our, pitch material, he tried to tie in harmony and rhythm. So, for example, I should explain, I can explain it simply. I mean, if you think of the fundamental, which is C, the third harmonic is really the fifth, yeah? This is not in tune to the harmonic series, by the way, it's out of tune. We've been playing music out of tune for 300 years. And then, of course, you've got the fifth harmonic, which is the major third, yeah? So really, the point is that the fifth harmonic is really a 5-4 ratio, and the third harmonic is so if you think of a C major chord, which is really kind of our simple foundation, harmonic foundation, it represents, scientifically, I should say, it represents the fifth and the third harmonic. Anyway, so Henry Cowell ties in these ideas. In other words, you've got a 5-4 ratio, 3-2 ratio, they become rhythmic ratios. So in a sense, you try and, well, in a sense, it's an idea, it's a concept, but he tries to tie in harmony and rhythm together. So then we have these associations. And that's what I try and do throughout the pieces, is actually use these associations and create these relationships.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for those insights. It's incredibly interesting to hear a little bit of deconstruction about the music. So thank you very much.